The absence of Revali's Gale is a sore spot for many fans. The ease of pressing one button to instantly create an updraft, not once but 3 times, isn't something we can simply replicate in Tears of the Kingdom. Love it or hate it, Nintendo created a minigame out of getting into the air and told us to get creative. So, how many different ways can we get off the ground? For this first section, I want to highlight every method that does not require Ultra Hand building. For the most part, these are the most accessible and should be the cheapest. We'll start with the most obvious. You could just warp to the sky and glide almost anywhere. Of course, you could just use Skyview Towers or recall a Skyrock. But let's think outside the box. A returning technique from Breath of the Wild: set spicy peppers on fire for an instant updraft. It feels even more accessible this time around because spicy peppers are everywhere. My go-to method is to charge a spin attack with a fire weapon, then drop the pepper to instantly create an updraft right where you stand. You can also light several peppers on fire at once to create a larger updraft. Sunshrooms work similarly. If you have an overabundance of firewood, 4 bundles will also create an indefinite updraft until the fires are put out. Add pine cones as fuel. More pine cones equals more fuel, increasing the updraft height considerably. Oil jars can be used as fuel too. On grassy fields, use any fire source to quickly create an updraft. Denobo is excellent for this as he will create a long linear updraft. A weapon fused with a ruby will work well too. Probably the most well-known alternative to Revali's Gale at this point is the rocket shield. Fuse one to your shield and have it ready to go whenever you need it. Other shield fusions to gain height include any bomb shield variant, the spring shield, and the octo balloon. Honorable mention here is the wing shield. It won't get you much, but it will get you enough height to enter bullet time for a brief moment. You can also stand on Menaru's shoulders for a little extra height. When you're not picking apples or fairies, it's a quick way to get bullet time as well. Use a piece of meat to create a recall elevator. Casually get into a fight with a Gleeok and use its updraft. Or recall the ice pillars back into the sky. If all else fails, find a dragon buddy coming out of the depths and enjoy a free ride. The next section is solely focused on Ultra Hand and Zonai parts. You can't start this section without mentioning the hover bike or anything similar that flies. It's low cost and will get you just about anywhere in the game. But we don't always need the bike. For a really cheap updraft, just drop a fan on the floor. If you're feeling fancy, the motor and propeller can create a bigger one. Attach a rocket to any platform, like a cart. Attach one to an open spring for a 2-stage launch. If you enjoy a scenic adventure, take a hot air balloon. Then put a rocket on it. Just put a rocket on everything. I don't think it's a stretch to say that Ascend is a direct replacement for Revali's Gale, but needing a surface above you to go up. Sometimes the level above is just out of reach. Drop a cart or a sled, ultra hand it as high as you can, then recall the cart so you can ascend through it. And through the ceiling above. Sometimes you don't have that surface and you need to create one. You could shoot a hoverstone into the sky and use that, or combine a bunch of logs and ascend to the top. With enough hoverstones, you could make an elevator. There's a schematic in the depths for an instant scaffold. It costs 12 Zonai, but makes a quick and stable platform to ascend onto. If that's too much, for only 6 Zonai, you can make yourself a cheap windbomb. Next up are unintended mechanics. Unfortunately, the player base is scattered across every version of the game, so these may or may not work on your game. I want to include glitches that have been fixed, and then move on to the stuff that still works. We'll start with the pocket rocket, or rocketboarding. This used a technique that was patched in 1.1.2 called fuse entanglement. If you open the ability menu just as you fuse a rocket to your shield, and then immediately switch to a different shield, a copy will remain on the ground while invisibly attached to your shield. Use this copy to your weapon. Now all you have to do is Shieldsurf, keep holding ZL and A, and start spamming B. Next up, Autobuild cancel flying, patched in 1.1.1. Using two wings, ultra hand them perpendicularly together, and so the Autobuild sits at a 45-degree angle. I hold one at a 45-degree angle, and then use recall on it to keep it steady before attaching the second wing. Select the Autobuild you just created. With the wings in position, quickly press B and Y simultaneously, then select the same build. It will cancel the Autobuild, but a phantom template will remain, keeping the wings suspended. Use another object to pull the wings closer to you and climb on board. Keep holding forward on the left stick, and the wings will climb into the sky. Another patched glitch called Wacko Boingo gave you the ability to fly anywhere using Ultra Hand. It was activated by standing on a platform and starting a cutscene between a few NPCs at Riverside Stable. After the cutscene, attach an item to the platform and take flight. Before 1.2, we could gain infinite height using a jump slash and a combination of menu presses and a shield swap. It's difficult to learn, but could be used to cheese some shrine puzzles. The initial combo is to jump, hold L, and then attack. Close the ability menu and quickly swap shields, then press ZR to enter bullet time. Repeat the combo by tapping Y and holding L again. On the initial jump, it's important to start holding L before the attack in order to get enough height for bullet time. The last patched glitch was dubbed Ascend Launching. Start by fusing a fan to your shield. Place a shock emitter on the ground and stand next to it. With a one-handed weapon, activate the shock emitter and then hold ZL. You should drop your shield, and once you pick it back up, the fan will be on. Hold a big battery over your head and quickly ascend through it. When you come out the other side, you should take off like a rocket. Okay, now onto the glitches that still work. We'll start with the Paracopter, found and refined by Paradox Gaming. Attach a wooden plank to a motor and two carts to the motor. Stand on an elevated surface and hold the carts against the platform. The plank will begin to spin rapidly. When the speed starts to match the frame rate of the game, use recall to briefly freeze the platform and hop on. I suck at it, but check out Paradox's videos for all the information. I'll put a link in the description. This next trick is called recall launching. I don't think this one is really considered a glitch, but rather unintended mechanics. There are two versions. The first one is the spear launch. Use a spear with a wooden plank. Throw it next to a platform and quickly recall and ultra hand it to that platform. Stand on top and use recall again on the spear. Jump at the correct moment to get an insane amount of air. The second way is by using a fan. With the fan facing you, picking it up can cause it to flip into its default holding position. Drop the fan and attach it to a wood plank. If the fan flipped towards you, attach it to the back, and vice versa. Use the same technique as the spear launch, jumping at the correct time, and you should get a nice boost. This one doesn't go as high as the spear launch, but at least you don't need to waste a spear. Both methods take practice, but they are fun to pull off. This next trick was introduced in 1.2.0 and is exclusive to that version. You can create an invisible shield fusion with infinite usage. Bounce around Hyrule with the spring in the glide set. Stand with your back against a wall with the shield you want to use. Open your inventory, drop your shield, equip another shield, and drop that too. It won't actually drop your shield, but the game will think you don't have any shield equipped. Shieldsurf to your heart's content with no need to worry about durability. Using the same smuggling technique as the shield, you can do the same with the bow for infinite durability. You can also climb anywhere. Hold ZR to aim your bow, jump and press Y, followed by ZR again. Repeatedly tap Y and then ZR to climb to an infinite height. If Link does the full jump attack, you didn't hold ZR long enough before pressing Y again. It takes a little practice, but it's actually really easy to pull off. I think that about covers everything, for now. I imagine Nintendo is already crafting a patch for most of these tricks, but we can hope they bring us new ones. In the future, I'll create addendums for new tricks and any patched ones. Thanks for watching.